people in general lack comfortable, neutral social spaces. And with the way modern cities are planned, there's less and less safe social space. The Muslims have always had third places beside just the mosque. And the most fascinating thing to me is that really the last kind of bastion of third places in American context really is the coffee shop, where people go and they order coffee, hang out, read a book, maybe study, use the Wi-Fi or whatever. And the coffee shop is very much from the Muslim legacy. So it kind of begs the question, why then have the Muslims not totally capitalized on that phenomenon of a third place? And I think the really important point to understand is that Muslims are people, and people in general, and Americans in specific, are very much suffering from a lack of third places. One of the problems is that we measure the effectiveness or the value of spaces by their explicit religiosity. Right? In other words, if it's a place that is explicitly, ostensibly religious, oh, that's a good place. And if it's a place that is ostensibly, outwardly not necessarily religious, oh, that's somehow less valuable. What the social scientists argue is that when citizens of a community come together with no express purpose other than to just be together, then there is benefit in that association. A big part of what we do here at Tatlif is looking at what does a semi-sacred space mean? A space that people can come to and it's meaningful. So you come into our main prayer area, main hall, where we also have other events. And you can see that it's like, it's designed in a way that's like, it's got a semi-sacred vibe to it. Like it's got the type of energy, the type of space that would make you want to maybe sit down and read a book or meditate or what have you. And that's where we'll most often pray. But because it's not a mosque, it doesn't have the legal ruling within the Islamic law of a mosque, and therefore doesn't come with all of the kind of expectations and the proper guidelines that the Islamic law calls to regarding mosques. Like there's certain things that one would do and one would not do in a mosque because it's an explicitly religious, totally sacred space. Now, when you take a third place and you attach to that third place a semi-sacred space, that's something very, very beautiful. And that's a big part of what we're doing here at Tatlif, is creating alternative social spaces where people can go and totally be themselves and not have the expectations that they may typically think they're supposed to live up to when it came to, for example, a mosque. We have, I think, by the grace of God, established the semi-sacred space. A room where people come, sometimes there's going to be a class, and sometimes there's going to be a film screening, and sometimes people are just going to be kicking it, and sometimes there's going to be an iftar, and sometimes there's just going to be prayer. Sometimes it's going to be a big open room, and no one's in there, and you just sit in there by yourself and meditate. So you have that, that's established. The next phase of things, inshallah ta'ala, will be where we create the dopest, independent social space south of Berkeley in the Bay Area, where people are going to want to come there just because of how dope it is aesthetically. You can give a pamphlet, you can give a CD, you can give an audio lecture, you can preach. Let people see the Muslims, experience the Muslims. Then the tide will change. And that's a work that has to be done. So imagine that combined with the highest standard of what it means to drink a latte. Not just some gas station, you know what I mean? Cheap thing, but a really good artisan level latte with fair trade, organic, good coffee beans, and organic mint with fresh organic mint with Moroccan tea. And imagine all of that combined with a musalla 15 feet away. So when it comes time to pray, we're going to watch them pray real quick. So it's not threatening, we could go from playing hacky sack or whatever, playing pool or kicking back and drinking coffee to, hey, we're going to make salah real quick. You guys want to come? Or, hey, there's a class going on next door. You guys want to come? I think that's going to mean something very, very big. And that's a model that we're going to happily share with people from other communities, happily. I remember probably a year or two into my Islam, going to an Eid breakfast at somebody's house, and then everybody went, after we had the breakfast, everybody went with their families off to do, family stuff. And I wasn't married yet, and I just remember sitting there as the young Muslim bachelor feeling dude, what am I gonna do now? And that feeling of loneliness, I think, that's the real danger, is that people just feel lonely and they feel isolated because they don't have anyone to hang out with. And for many converts, what that means is they're just kind of default to their old social circle, which can be very problematic, where they're around folks that don't have the best interests of their Islam in mind. For many Muslim youth, what that means, it's the same thing. Like, they have that same social circle. It's not like just because I'm Muslim and I'm in America, all of a sudden everyone I know is Muslim, or everyone I know has some type of spiritual constitution. Just whatever, the homies and whatever the homies are doing. And that's what's really, I think, that is really the cause of a lot of people's disconnect or being disengaged, is that they don't have the social bedding, like the almost like the soil for the seed of their Islam to be planted in, to grow into like this garden of experience. Because it's just like I'm a seed out on the cement somewhere, and I'm waiting to blossom, but I don't have the fertile soil to blossom in.